Now we go into the last final on the penultimate day of the 2023 B&L Karting Series season. It's DD2 and DD2 Masters this time, and here is your starting grid. Enzo Bol will start from pole position, having won the pre-final a little bit later on. Tom Bracken in second will be alongside him on the front row. Maxime Dirix and Nicolas Guillaume will again occupy third and fourth, but the other way around as opposed to the pre-final. Jules Cousin will start fifth. Alongside him will be the pre-final winner for DD2 Masters, Karl Klebo, with David Maslakovic, Nikita Genza, Carl Gustav Borgard, and Nikolai Christensen running at the top 10. Dmitry Ostrovsky, Merit Schreiber, Jan Eckstein, Dominic Hummels, Andreas Neumann, Kian de Brandt, Jan Frost, Camille Kubera, Lucas Dolizal, and Yori Klebo running out the 20-strong grid, with Klebo unfortunately excluded for being underweight. So we get underway with a 15-minute final, plus an additional lap. So mini-max, there'll be 13 minutes, plus an additional lap for both the pre-final and the final tomorrow. But then for the remaining other classes, we open it up a little bit longer in terms of the time duration. So Tom Bracken and Maxime Dirix having a little bit of, let's just say, elbows out last time earlier on today. But the red lights are on the starting gantry for 15 minutes, plus an additional lap. After this, we'll have two more senior road tax heats to conclude the day. And then from those six heats, we will have the top 36 going through to tomorrow's pre-final and final. So the drivers make their way out of the final corner. Red lights on the gantry. Revs rise. Are we ready? Lights are out. They are underway. Good start by Enzo Bol, and straight away Tom Bracken pulls to the inside of the racing line, heading into turn 2 to block the door, to not allow Maxime Dirix to get through. A little bit further back. Jules Cousin losing a position. Also, Dominic Hummels has lost a couple of places, heading into turn number 3, as Bol leads the field going into the Europlan off of turn number 6 for the opening time. 5.67 of Andreas Neumann. Oh, very close there. Bracken might have been looking for a move up the inside of Enzo Bol, heading into turn 7 off of the Europlan. But Dirix and Guillaume running line astern, just behind the two from SP Motorsport. Karl Klebo now up into 5th place, still leading DD2 Masters. He has effectively picked up his first race win of the season earlier on. But after lap 1, Bol leads, Bracken second. Top 3 covered by 0.56 of a second. There's David Maslakovic, who has just got through on the 403 of Nikita Genza, who is trying to gather traction out of turn 2 and in the run into turn 3. But the German from Dorn Motorsport unable to use the traction out of turn 3. Looked like the rear tyres might have spooled up ever so slightly. And through into turn 8 go the race leaders. Bracken closing in on Enzo Bol for the overall race lead. After 2 laps, we pretty much have the entire field still running on the circuit, as Bracken gets the gap down to about 0.23 of a second and sets the fastest lap of a 54.669. But the 4.99 and the 444 of Maxime Dirix and Nicolas Guillaume still keeping the two from SP Motorsport very, very honest indeed. Top 4 were covered by less than 7 tenths after the opening 2 laps of the race as they fire their way through the turn 7 chicane off of the Europolan. Update on DD2 Masters. Karl Klebor now leading in 5th, and the nearest competitor is Nikolaj Christensen. So Dominic Hummels is struggling. He's all the way down in 17th position. And out of the 7 drivers, he is currently 6th. So from that perspective, Dominic Hummels' opportunity of going for a B&L Karting Series title is slowly but surely fading into the distance. Nicolas Guillaume, in the meantime, trying to close in on his teammate. Careful, Nicolas, you don't want to upset an angry bear, because that's exactly what Nicolas Guillaume is going to become Maxime Gunnix is going to become if you try and send it up the inside. But they will know very, very well not to do that. And the gap has now expanded between 1st and 2nd position to the tune of 4/10. But the fastest lap of the race has now come from the Polish driver in 6th overall, 5th in DD2, David Maslakovic. And that is a 54.499 second lap time. Lap 4 completed. Enzo Boll has just matched the lap time. Nikolaj Christensen has just outpaced everybody with a 447 second lap time on that effort. Well, that just goes to show. Well, Nicolas Picot has done it before, and now Nikolaj Christensen has just done the same himself. So kudos to the pair of them. So the 2-speed DD2 karts roar their way around the circuit here at Karting Genk, the home of champions. And Enzo Boll looking to pick up a maximum score. Now threading the eye of the needle up the inside of Karl Klebor. That's David Maslakovic. Through on the DD2 Masters driver. Klebor will be pretty happy because he's still got a couple of karts in between himself. Well, he's got one now between himself and Nikolaj Christensen. Christensen is closing, however. He's about half a second. Well, he's probably going to be the best part of about 7/10 of a second behind Karl Klebor for the Masters lead. Now, that won't cause a problem, I think, for Karl Klebor, but there is a move that's... Oh, well, there we go. Jules Cousin up the inside. Nikolaj Christensen right with Karl Klebor for the DD2 Masters Class lead. And he's through on lap number 7 at turn 2. Nikolaj Christensen gets the job done. Now, based on current drop scores, Klebor and Hummels, 5.88 plays 5.57. That takes into consideration that both drivers have had a 39 point a finish of 39 points, which effectively is 14th, and a 12th place finish this season. So, no matter what happens with Nicolas Picot, well, tomorrow he won't be champion. But Karl Klebor, if he is pretty much the same, if he's got the same gap between himself and Dominic Hummels after the pre-finals tomorrow, that then means he is one step away from securing another piece of history. Okay, up the inside of Karl Klebor goes the 4-3-7 Carl Gustav Borgard. And, well, he decides, you know what, I'm going to let Nikolaj Christensen go off into the distance. I've finally picked up my first win. Okay, might have been a bit short-lived, but Christensen at the moment puts himself on 449 points after that. Well, no, it's more than that because he picked up 52 points in the opening race, puts him on 501. Now, bearing in mind, folks, Nikolai Christensen did not take part at Ostrikor, which means there are 4 no scores, 2 of which are his deductions for this season. So, at the moment, I have it as follows. Karl Klibor, 588. Dominic Hummels, 557. Nikolai Christensen, 501 points. And that's including up-to-date drop scores. But Maxim Dirix holding on to third at the moment. And the way I see it, Enzo Boll has a slightly higher points deduction. Puts him approximately 16 points behind Tom Bracken. But the key thing is, Bracken is only 7/10 away. Enzo Boll has set the fastest lap of the race overall, 54.181. There goes Guillaume up the inside. That is on Dirix. So that means that Maxim Dirix is even further away from either, well, he's going to be further away from the championship title, but also with that comes the opportunity of getting a grand finals ticket, because effectively he knew that he was hopefully going to try and compete for one. But it may not be the last opportunity that he gets this season. 5 minutes and 45 seconds still to go in this race, plus an additional lap. And Dirix closing in. Thank you, Yannick, for sending me over the so like the actual main, I think it's the airbox on the LMP3 Ginetta that Maxim will be driving next week at Hockenheim. And there he goes through up the inside. That's what I like about the fact when you've got 2 teammates battling away. Dirix gets through. Guillaume was looking for the switchback coming out of turn 12. Dirix now shuts the door going back into turn 2 on lap number 12 of this race. And Dirix and Guillaume swapping positions like nobody's business. They managed to get through. Well, Guillaume now up into third place. And his best finish was a third, well, actually a second in the final on day 1 at Ostrikor at Racing Kart JPR. And again, they're swapping positions. Oh, dearie me. This is how when you have an inter-teammate squabble, and I think he's now given the signal to Nico saying, right, okay, stop fighting me. Stop fighting me. I need to catch the 2 in front. That's what I need to do right here, right now, and move forward. If he doesn't do that, I mean, he's fought all the way through the season as Maxim. His lowest results were in both day 1 finals here at Genk and also at day 1 at Ostrikor. So Karl Klibor rounding out the top 2 in DD2 Masters. He also rounds out the top 10. But Nikolai Christensen within 7/10 of a second of David Maslakovic. There is Karl Klibor battling away with Jules Cousin. That is for 9th overall on the road as we head into the final 3 minutes. Dmitry Ostrovsky has set a personal best on lap 12, 54.596. Not really many improvements happening because it looks like there's quite a few battles up and down the order. Jan Eckstein being closed in on by Dmitry Ostrovsky and Yuri Klebo. That is for 13th overall. Ostrovsky at the minute is currently P4 in DD2 Masters. Dominic Hummels is ahead of Camille Kubera, so that is going to more than likely be another finish in, well, that will be a 48 and a 47. That will put Karl Klebo 31 points ahead of him. 2.25 minutes still to go. And Karl Klebo, he just can't let it go, can he? He wants to try and get through on Jules Cousin from France, the 451. So they go through into turn number 3. Klebo trying to close on in on the Dams Racing driver representing France into turn 5. A little bit of Oppo lock going through into turn 5. You can see as they're turning the cart left, they're using a little bit of right hand down to try and control any oversteer when you're rotating that cart into the corner. Maxime Dirix and Nicolas Guillaume also put in their personal best laps of 54.286 for Dirix, 54.317 for Guillaume. But Enzo Bol having a lead of now nearly 1 3/4 seconds over Tom Bracken. And again, Karl Klebo is like a dog with a bone, isn't he? Trying to get through on Jules Cousin, but also to race against the... having the DD2s and the DD2 Masters running together sometimes actually is quite entertaining, especially when you see someone like Karl, who has a very, very successful bakery business, actually has multiple locations, and that's why he's very much loved in this paddock, especially when people open a fridge and see what's inside, and he's been in. But he's also a very, very clever, very, very good racer. He's also one of the most humblest people I've ever met over my journey in karting. Always smiling, always shaking, holding out his hand for a handshake. He sees you in the morning. But with 15 seconds to go, we're now on the penultimate lap of this final. And the way things stand, if it finishes like it is right now, and it stays like this, things might be getting a little bit closer. So, at the moment, Bol leading the way in terms of the race. Tom Bracken, second. Maxime Dirix, third. Nicolas Guillaume, fourth. Effectively, that puts Tom Bracken 16 points ahead after 2 dropped scores this season. So, final lap is underway. Enzo Bol has a country lead of an advantage, nearly 2.1 seconds. It's like he's decided to leave Genk and go to Zolder. Dirix and Guillaume rounding out the top 4 as Enzo Bol puts the pedal to the metal down the Europalan for what will be the 18th and final time here today. The title battle goes down to the wire tomorrow, but one man who has kept his cool at this moment in time, the 404 from the Netherlands, Enzo Bol, heads his way down to turn number 12, and it's double bubble for the young Dutchman, who along with Bracken made the move from Junior Rotax to DD2. It's paid dividends 2 for 2 for Enzo Bol. Bracken, 2 second place finishes on the trot, finishing nearly 2.4 seconds behind Enzo Bol. Maxime Dirix takes P3 ahead of Nicolas Guillaume, with David Maslakovic taking 5th, representing Poland in the 4.45. Nikolai Christensen, Carl Gustav Borgard, Nikita Genza, Jules Cousin, and Karl Klebo round out the top 10. Christensen picks up a win in DD2 Masters. Karl Klebo takes 2nd. Kian de Brandt, 11th, head of Lennart Schreiber, who rounds out the top 3 in DD2 Masters. Jan Eckstein, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Yuri Klebo, Dominic Hummels, Andreas Neumann, Kamil Kubera, Jan Frost, and Lukas Dolizal round out the complete field that finished all 18 laps of the 1.36 kilometre circuit here at Karting Genk.